Hey gang, welcome back to West Houston Presents. Well, today's guest is not only a top-flight bass and cello player, he's also a fabulous composer, blending the sounds of classical chamber, jazz, blues, rock, and folk. Adding his own distinctive touch, he comes up with a sound that is truly his own. He's flown in from Texas today. He's brought a couple of his buddies with him. Today, West Houston Presents is proud to present Mr. Jerry Rizzi. Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome back, Mr. Jerry Rizzi.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Jerry, how about you introduce the fellas to us?
Absolutely. I've got Sly Scott here on tenor sax and flute today, but he also plays soprano. And we've got Joe Berger on guitar. And we both, all three of us go way back.
Well, you're in the Wayback Machine today, buddy.
Way back.
Because if you remember, last time you were here must have been 8, 9 years ago.
Yes.
Sly was with you then
That's
too.
right, that's
And
right.
we added Joe today. It sounds great over here, buddy. It really does. Now, Jerry, I know you grew up in Hicksville, Long Island.
Correct.
And then you've lived so many places I can't keep up with you. You're in Texas now.
Yes, I've been in Texas actually off and on for over 25 years, but I live in Plano, Texas, and I love it. It's outside of Dallas, a great arts community there.
And you're involved in the arts community out there.
Yes, very much so. I'm very fortunate. I have a fellow named Ty Morelli with Midnight Snack Productions, who's produced and my whole CD.
Wow.
And I'm working on a couple of other projects, and yeah, it's a great area to be.
Great. And the name of that tune that we just heard?
The name of that tune, it was called Blue Interlude.
Wow. Now, I know I know the answer to this already, but I'm going to ask anyway. When you were just getting there, the formative years, what were you listening to?
Pretty eclectic. I mean, everything from classical music like Dvorak symphonic works to John Coltrane and Miles Davis. So it's pretty eclectic. And of course, like everybody else, you early on, listen to a lot of the classic rock well, it wasn't classic rock then, but classic rock now.
It was contemporary then, but yeah, it's
Right,
grown
right.
into that
I was
classic
a
rock.
very young child. Right.
Oh, yeah. And do you get a chance to work out much on the cello anymore?
I do now.
You do?
Yeah, it's in fact, it shows up on 3 of my songs on the CD.
Beautiful.
And I've gone through the cello a couple of times where I've laid it down, just primarily doing my bass, but now it's back in with me in a lot of ways. So I use both instruments.
Great, great. I know we kind of do the same thing with music, right? You get into something heavily and then, you go on to the next thing, but you always go back.
Exactly.
I was just telling Sly before that I just recently bought a whole bunch of Coleman Hawkins CDs,
Oh, wow.
even though I have the vinyl, just to pump it up and get into it again, Now, what's the name of the next tune you're going to do for us?
The next tune we're going to do is called Bach, Rock, and Jazz. And just a little bit on that. On that piece, I have a part of a Bach cello suite on it, but actually that's for the bass guitar and the guitar to play. And I do play cello, but I don't have that here today. We have Sly is going to be playing the flute part. And so we mix a combination of some jazz feels and some rock feels along with a little bit of Bach, hence Bach, Rock, and Jazz.
Bach, rock. We're ready for Bach, rock, and jazz.
Okay.
Give it a try.
Okay.
using this as a guitar lesson in the future. Excellent, guys. Excellent. That was really nice. Jerry, the new CD is called Driftwood.
Right, Driftwood, and it sort of tells a story to me. It's called Jerry, Rizzi and Friends, and I've got about 17 different musicians on it. And,
wow.
And I'm really fortunate to have Sly and Joe on at least 2 of them. Actually, Sly, you're on a 3rd one from a previous CD that I put on. And yeah, it's got 10 pieces
you
on
gave me an advance copy, and I have to say I love it. I've been listening to it over and over. I almost find it almost dreamlike, and you have your poetry on there, which is beautiful.
Thank you.
And if you read the poetry along with, you know, you better be drinking something. No, I mean it really is beautiful. I love it. And now those arrangements, were they all kind of written out, or did you give a little space to the fellas to improvise?
Yes to both. Yes to both. By far, you know, I have the written notes and some arrangements, but there's also room for the players to really express themselves in each one, even in the more classical style pieces. And so, yeah, so it's a combination written and.
It has that, which I love, kind of that almost loose but tight feeling. You know, it sounds like everyone is really enjoying themselves playing. Yeah. You know, I really, and that's Driftwood.
Yeah, Driftwood, and
terrific.
And the I really feel like the cover and the back cover really really capture the mood.
Captured the mood, right?
Yeah, and my 11-year-old son was involved with that because my graphic artist and I, when we saw the pictures that he had taken from a science class.
We had to there's the cover.
Yeah, the cover and the back cover. So it really was personal to me, though he did indicate that he would like to get something for it. So I did, so I paid him $50.
Your continuous allowance.
Yeah, right.
How about a piece of Driftwood?
What's the next tune called?
The next tune is North Boston Avenue. And that title is really personal to Joe Berger as well as myself because one of our mentors, one of our main mentors in our musical life is Joe Monk. And Joe lived on North Boston Avenue, and I used to go over to his house with a number of other guitar players, and on Sunday mornings we used to, after church, Sunday mornings we would play a number of tunes, and he was a great influence on all of us.
Little early morning, Sunday morning jam.
Yeah, and I was his bass player for 10 years, and Joe and him did many things together.
Beautiful.
Well, he was a teacher. I studied with him for many, many years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great
At the end of
teacher.
his life.
And a great guitarist.
So this is dedicated to him.
We're ready.
Okay. See you at the end.
Beautiful. Very hip, very hip. Jerry, you have a teaching. A lot of your time is spent teaching these days, right?
Yes, I have about basically 50 students.
50, 5-0.
Yeah, 50 students in 2 different studios called Texas Music Lab, which I love. We do sessions even after the teaching's done with all different ages, adults, and another place called Mr. E's Music, which is a great place too. And
Wow.
so I'm really pleased with that. And
You teach both bass and guitar?
I have, yeah, I have about, I would say, almost 2/3 of bass students, and then I have a handful of cello students, and
Oh,
the rest are
great.
guitar students.
Beautiful.
So it's kind of a mixed bag.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, Joe, I have to get this in here. Joe has a very, very worthwhile project going on here. I'd like to talk about the foundation for a few seconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. And give us a little rundown on this.
Well, it's called the CWB Foundation for Children in Music, and this started about 3.5 years ago, and it came out of our guitar school, which is called Hey Joe Guitar, and you can find that at heyjoeguitar.com. And the CWB is at the cwb.org, and I'll get all of that in. And it brings music to school systems that have cut their music budgets. And what we do is we have teachers that go to these schools, and they put together choruses. We put together chorus programs and band programs in Brooklyn and the Bronx, New York. And
Beautiful.
we have 4 programs running now. We're trying to get more going. And it's a really wonderful, beautiful program.
Now, Joe, is this would this be an after-school program, or is this actually replacing right in the school time where their music would be if it wasn't eliminated?
Well, some of the programs are actually during school hours, during their lunch hours. The kids are giving up their lunch hours or their recess hours to work in these band programs or chorus programs, and they're amazing. The kids are amazing. It's from very young kids, as young as 1st grade, all the way till the 8th grade. One of the programs in Brooklyn at PS 137 is an after-school program, and so the kids devote their hours after school to rehearsals, and will be performing.
Wow, well, that's excellent. That's an
it's a
excellent
wonderful
program. I know that, you know, what happens in the budget cutback, the arts and music
time.
are the
First to
first
go.
to go.
Absolutely.
I never understood it, but that's the way it is. I mean, nothing gets people more together and cooperating with other people than being in a band. Sly, how you been doing, buddy?
I've been good. It's good to see you again.
Jerry tells me you're touring the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of tours in Europe and Africa. So.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Mostly playing, just keeping the candle of jazz alive. And
Yeah, doing a lot of jazz, doing some other things too, some world beat music,
Oh, world
and
beat, oh,
reggae
great.
and things like that.
any more of the soul stuff going on?
Oh yeah, I just did a show in London at the O2 Festival with, believe it or not, Brass Construction.
Oh, okay,
You know,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
going back to
Yeah, yeah.
1981. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, in the theater I work at, we see a lot of the stuff go by. A lot of the old groups, they're still out
They're
there
still
playing, and
there.
they still sound fine.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a new crop of soul people too. There's a wonderful singer, Sharon Jones, and the Dap Kings. Oh man, they are as hot as anybody from back when. They are really good. They're based out of Brooklyn, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
So there's always some good new music going on. Jerry, as usual, you know how we're always pressed for time, but I would like to get in 2 seconds or a couple of minutes into the songwriting head of Jerry Rizzi.
Sure.
These pieces that you compose, first of all, I'd like to say that Jerry left me 2 times in my life, in 68 and 80. He always had better things to do. One of my favorite all-time bass players. But I like to say that Jerry's compositions and CDs are not bass CDs or compositions. They are music compositions.
Right. I approach it as a composer first, and it just so happens that I play the cello. I played the bass and cello, and I hear. To me, it tells a story. That's important to me, and the instrumental music, though. But yeah, that's the approach I take. It's not a bass player CD. I mean, there's some, you know, if it calls for a really good riff, and that's terrific.
That's
but
part of the composition, though, as opposed to being based around the bass or based
exactly.
around the cello.
Absolutely.
So you are writing these pieces because I can hear that they are, you know, musical pieces. I mean, sometimes I get, you know, I'm a bass player and it's all about the bass, you know what I mean? But these are just beautiful compositions that you can just fall right into, you know. And I would, of course, here we go again. It's like we're going to post your contact information at the end.
Okay.
I have a million more questions, but as usual, I'm getting the old 3-minute sign.
Oh, okay.
And what we're going to do is thank you, fellas, one more time for coming down. I know, you know, everyone coming from. By the way, you didn't drag these fellas in from Texas.
No.
They are New York City boys. Yeah.
Riverdale and a couple places.
Yeah.
Connecticut and Staten
Staten
Island.
Island. Okay, so part New York City.
And
You're
in New York City.
You're in New York. So am I. So,
Okay.
and thanks so much, fellas, for coming
Thank
down.
you.
And you can take us out with the tune.
Yeah, we're going to change it up. We'll do a Wayne Shorter piece that Miles made kind of popular, and it's called Footprints.
Wow, we're ready for Footprints.
You
Thanks
got it.
again so much, fellas.
Thank you for having us.